Mercedes Miami Grand Prix was a surprising success after a disappointing qualifying session left them 6th and 13th on the grid. Despite the fears of a DRS train, Lewis Hamilton made great progress through the field, and with a huge upgrade coming in Italy, things seem to finally be looking up for Mercedes. But with the good comes the bad in Formula 1, and after 7 years living the high life, Mercedes seem to find themselves with disappointment after disappointment. Today, we'll tell you why you shouldn't be excited about the Mercedes Italian upgrade, how James Allison was actually Mercedes' second choice to take over running the technical department, and why things aren't looking good for 2024 either. Yeah, I got a lot of bad Mercedes news for you today, so if you're a fan of the team, look away now. Otherwise, grab some popcorn and enjoy. Lewis Hamilton says he is excited at the prospect of new upgrades at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, which takes place in 2 weeks. Hamilton and Mercedes have started the season in relatively underwhelming fashion and don't appear to have bridged any of the enormous gap to Red Bull, who dominated last year's championship. Mercedes struggled to get to grips with the new regulations, which were introduced at the start of 2022, and Hamilton failed to win a race last year, the first time that has happened since his F1 career began in 2007. He is currently 4th in the championship behind the 2 Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, along with Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin. The 38-year-old spoke after the race about new upgrades, saying, "I've been counting down the days." The 2-week break between Miami and Imola allows teams to get together and produce new parts for the cars as the mainly European leg of the season prepares to commence. There is a quick trip to Canada in the middle, but otherwise we have 9 European races before heading to Asia for the Singapore Grand Prix. Mercedes are one of many teams who will be trying out new parts in order to eke out more pace from their car. "I'll find out this week what we're expecting," the 7-time champion said. "We'll see what kind of trajectory that puts us on, but I'm really hoping that it helps us take a step forwards. I think others might bring upgrades as well, so it will be really interesting to see where we are with the lay of the land. But yeah, I'm excited." Unfortunately for Hamilton, his team boss doesn't share the same level of enthusiasm for the upgrades Mercedes have coming. Toto Wolff has been bullish about Mercedes cars since 2022. Before the first race of the new technical regulations, he made big claims about the car having a huge amount of pace, even hiding the zero-pod concept from the other teams for the first preseason test. That confidence was very poorly placed, wasn't it? Since then, he's constantly said that the team is going to improve with each upgrade, but in reality, they never really have. Sure, the car has stopped bouncing, but otherwise, nothing has really happened. The Imola changes are going to be huge though, the largest overhaul of the car since the new regulations came into place. Wolff said, "I think we're chasing downforce, and we're trying to do the best possible job in terms of the mechanical platform. What we're doing is we're introducing a new bodywork, we're introducing a new floor, and we're doing a new front suspension. And that's a pretty large operation, large surgery. It is expected that the new bodywork Toto mentioned will be the end of the zero-pod concept. The team have spoken about getting rid of it a few times this season, so unfortunately, I think Miami was the last time we saw what was originally described as one of the most radical and innovative design choices Formula 1 has ever seen by some pundits. Even the people who get paid to do this job can be wrong sometimes." Toto has clearly learnt his lesson from making bold claims about the work Mercedes have been doing in their factory. He has cautioned that Mercedes need to manage their expectations with the array of new parts, which will arrive at the quarter-way mark of the 2023 season. "I have never in my 15 years in F1 seen a silver bullet being introduced, where suddenly you unlock half a second of performance, so I very much doubt that this is going to happen here," the Austrian said. "What I'm looking forward to is that we take certain variables off the table, where we believe we could have introduced something that we don't understand in the car, and go more to, let's say, a stable platform." I hope Lewis isn't too excited because clearly Toto isn't. The point of the upgrade isn't to go out and challenge Red Bull. The aim is to give the Mercedes team a car they can work with, one they can analyze and upgrade and improve throughout the remaining lifespan of these technical regulations, something they haven't been able to do for the last year and a half. You would think that surely that is a good thing for the team. After all, having a car they can actually improve would be a huge step for them. Hell, just having a car they can set up for a weekend of consistent running would be massive for them right now. But what the last year and a half has taught us is that Mercedes don't understand the new ground effect cars. Overhauling their floor, front suspension, and overall aero design would normally be an exciting upgrade. Toto might say that there are no silver bullets in Formula 1, but as I said a few days ago, this many changes together could make a silver magazine, and they really could gain half a second. But this is not a normal upgrade. In fact, even calling it an upgrade may be a mistake. This is more of a side grade for Mercedes. An upgrade implies that the team knows how it will improve the car, but from Toto's interviews, they don't seem to know what it will do, just that it will give them a better platform to upgrade from. So not only are the Imola side grades not necessarily going to improve the car in any way, they may actually make it harder for the team to prepare for 2024. The changes will hopefully put Mercedes on the right course with a car that has the development potential to get to Red Bull's level, but there are several big hurdles that need to be overcome before that is possible. Mercedes are making so many changes to their car that a lot of their data from before Imola will now be invalidated. They'll need to spend many races assessing the changes to the car at different styles of track before they can start to plan the next developments going forward. Even if Mercedes' new parts do what is expected of them and give the team a stable platform to study and improve, they're still going to be almost a year and a half behind Red Bull in terms of data. In case you didn't know, that is really bad. That gap in data is going to look even worse when you start thinking about 2024, which is realistically the first chance Mercedes are going to get to challenge Red Bull for race wins, but even then, it's a long shot. Red Bull are so far ahead of the rest of the field at the moment that they may be able to shift their focus to 2024 pretty quickly after the summer break. It is a safe assumption that no one will catch them before that, and they'll probably have both championships pretty much wrapped up by then. Mercedes, though, will still need to be gathering data and making changes to their new car. They have that huge data deficit that needs making up after all. On top of that, Red Bull have a year and a half of upgrades that have optimized their floor and side pods. Mercedes are only just starting that process now. So while this side grade might be a good starting point for the team, it's just that, a starting point, and everyone else started there last season. But the bad news doesn't stop there for Mercedes. Mercedes recently made changes at their technical department in an attempt to bring life back to a design team that has struggled with the new regulations. As a part of that, James Allison returned to the team as technical director, replacing Mike Elliott. He wasn't even the team's first choice though. Toto Wolff reportedly had one of his colleagues phone Adrian Newey in an attempt to lure him over to Mercedes. Red Bull's superior performance has been largely attributed to Newey, the only bloke that can see air, and Mercedes were very keen on enticing him over to Brackley as they tried to turn their poisonous W14 into a race winner. According to F1 Insider, Mercedes went as far as to approach the design guru in the weeks before he committed his future to Red Bull. Shortly before Red Bull's mastermind Adrian Newey extended his contract with Red Bull a week ago, claims the publication, he received a phone call from a former Red Bull employee who is now one of the personal assistants for the Mercedes team boss and shareholder Toto Wolff. On behalf of her boss, the lady tried to lure the top-class aerodynamicist to Mercedes. Newey, however, declined with thanks and preferred to commit himself to Red Bull for another year. As excited as many Mercedes fans are to have Allison back in charge of designing the team's cars, it appears Toto Wolff didn't actually have faith in his ability to do it, something Helmut Marko wasted no time in pointing out. Mr. Wolff does not seem to have the full confidence in his own people to fix the problems with their car, he said. This has been a rough season for Mercedes, and despite the hope that things will improve in Italy, it's hard to see anything happening fast. And I can't imagine James Allison is going to be happy to learn he was Toto's backup choice. Do you think I'm being too negative about Mercedes' upcoming upgrades? Or are things going to be as bad for the team as I think? Let me know your opinion in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.